'cause it's late in the season, y'all.
Oh, hey guys, Diana here from Garden Love. It's been quite a challenge every day getting motivated to, let me lower this, to get out in the garden, because it seems like, if you guys have been following me for a long time, you guys know that I grow fruit trees in containers, and thankfully, successfully, they all produce fruit at one point once I gave them the right regimen of water, fertilization, and the right soil that they're sitting on. Now that I moved to my new homestead, it has been quite a challenge, because it's definitely a new journey, something that I am learning, and every day I see all these fruit trees that I have to put in that I brought from my previous garden, and I'm realizing that it's a ginormous task. It's definitely something that I cannot do alone like I used to be able to do alone, and put my fruit trees in pots. But I'm sitting here looking at my garden, the days going by, I turn on YouTube, and my dear friend, let's see if you guys can see him, Lead Farmer 73, is doing a live video as we speak, talking about getting out there, doing things, getting trees in the ground, and it really got me motivated. So I decided to have him talk while I actually got some things done, and I get to listen to see what he has going on to distract my mind from all the work that I have going on. So now that I'm bringing this topic up, I really want to talk to you guys about the difference between growing fruit trees in containers and growing fruit trees in the ground. It's a huge difference. Some people would say one is easier than the other. I would tell you what my experience has been as far as the fruit trees in containers, and so far what I've done as putting 2 citrus in the ground. Let's start with in the ground from what I've experienced recently. So putting things in the ground, there's a lot of things that are going to play a role in the success of you planting your fruit trees. 1, what kind of soil are you working with? And 2, are you going to be able to amend the soil how you want it to be? Stop it. 2, what kind of fruit tree are you going to put in the ground? 3, what kind of microclimate is your tree going to require? As you guys know, if you guys follow this channel from growing, because I grow fruit trees in containers, when you're growing trees in containers, you can control what kind of soil you have in the container. You can control where you're going to place that fruit tree, because if that tree is young and it's not acclimated to the weather and it's not used to having harsh sun during the summer, you can move it in a shady spot for the summer, and then in the winter put it in a sunny spot. So you have so much control over how you're growing fruit trees in containers. However, when you start growing them in the ground, you have no control. Once you put that tree in there, it's gonna either survive or not survive. So what do you have to do to allow your trees to succeed in this property or wherever you are at? So you're gonna have to do some research. Based on the research that I've done here, and what I've noticed from those 2 fruit trees that I put in the ground, is that 1, the soil doesn't drain as well. 2, that we have clay soil, and it's very, very hard to dig a hole. So when I'm ready to plant a tree, I'm gonna have to do it when it rains. I'm gonna have to dig a hole, or at least prepare the hole when it's raining, because that soil is saturated with water, which allows me to stick the shovel in there and do it much easier than when the soil is dry. So if you guys noticed, last time it rained, I went ahead and started kind of digging up a little trench just so I can walk and not slip on the hillside, and also dig up some holes so I can get a head start. But another thing you're gonna have to realize, what kind of I don't want to say predators, or what kind of animals will damage your orchard or your fruit trees. I have rodents here. Well, not rodents, what are they called? What?
Deers.
Well, we have deers, we have raccoons, gophers. We have tons of gophers. If you walk around my property, there is tons of little holes of gophers, holes that have been done by gophers. So as much as I want to get all these fruit trees in here, I am taking my time getting them in there, which is killing me inside, because if you guys know me, I am not a person of patience when it comes to the garden, because I just want to get my trees in the ground. I want to start moving forward, and I'm pretty much stuck right now because it is requiring so much work. I've got some of this wiring that has very, very small holes, maybe a centimeter wide, which would not allow the gophers to get into the roots of my fruit trees. You guys seen that video when I planted those fruit trees. If you haven't, I'm gonna put it right up above so you guys can take a look. It was a major challenge. Like, I moved this thing around so many times. So what I'm going to try to do now is actually try to pre-build the cage, so when I'm ready to put the tree in, it is a lot easier and not as complicated. And I'm going to try to use some other methods to allow the soil that my trees are going to be sitting in to drain a little bit better, or at least so they're not, when it does rain, it's not sitting in water. So there's a few little methods that I'm going to be implementing in growing fruit trees here in Southern California, and this can apply to any other area where there's desert, where you guys have clay soil such as the soil that I have here. So I'm hoping that you guys can follow along and tag along on this journey that I'm going through in building my orchard here in my Garden Loves homestead. I'm very excited with this journey, and I need your support to keep me motivated, because this is quite a challenge that I have taken up on myself to do, and I haven't been able to do it alone, which sometimes can also be very challenging for me, because I am a type of person that if I want to do something, I go out there and do it. I love asking for help, but I hate asking for it too often. So that's where I am being challenged right now. I'm trying to figure out a balance of where the things that I can do by myself and the things that I can get help in. And some things like Let Farmer 73 was mentioning in his live video today, that by now I'm sure it's posted, that some things you just have to pay for, because you have to figure out what is your time worth. If one task that someone can get done for a minimal amount of money that's going to take you a whole day's worth, is it worth you trying to do it alone and wasting all that day that you could have gotten 10 other things done? So you're really going to have to think to yourself and figure out what you can pay for and what is advantageous for you to get done, and then figure out what time is going to take you for you to get done. So that's very important, guys, that you guys evaluate that. If you guys have a small backyard and you guys have space for 1, 2, 3, even 5 fruit trees, I'm sure it would be advantageous for you to do that yourself and take your time doing it. I might consider either renting I forget what it's called, some sort of equipment to go through here and dig up a bigger trench and dig up some holes, so the holes are done already before time, and I could just take my time putting in the trees. So because honestly, me digging up the holes and the trench is going to take me hours, maybe a few days. So I'm gonna have to balance out what is worth. I only get 3 days off, and I really need to get done as much as I can during those 3 days. Not to mention that this is not my life. This is not well, it is my life and what I love doing, but it's not what pays the bills, and I have kids and I have other things to attend to inside the home. We just moved in here, so I have a lot of organizing to do, a lot of things to do, and that's the reason why I haven't been out in the garden as much as I wish I could be. So I'm gonna have to really figure out a good balance between paying someone and doing some stuff ourselves, and figuring out a budget, and some of the things that might cost a little bit more might require that I have to be patient and wait till I have those funds to pay someone or rent an equipment or do whatever it is that I need to do. So I know this video might be a little bit long, but I wanted to point a few things out for you guys to consider when you guys are growing an orchard or backyard tree, or if you guys are choosing between the ground and a container. So if you grow in a container, I do have to say the abundance of fruit that you're going to get is not going to be as much as you would get if you grow in the ground, because obviously the ground has more resource for the tree to expand and grow. and it will provide so much more fruit. That's the reason why I want to put all of my fruit trees in the ground, or at least most of them, the ones that are mature, because I want to have an abundance harvest so I can share with family and friends and do some amazing recipes and not be afraid to mess up on my recipes while I'm learning, because I have plenty of other fruits to go with, like making pies or doing jams, doing orange juice, and stuff like that. So I hope this video was informative. I hope that it got you thinking about a few things. If you have any other thoughts or suggestions or questions, please leave it in the comments down below. I would try my best to answer as many comments as possible. If for some reason I can't get to it, but there isn't something that you have triggered my thoughts, I will make a video about it. So I'm very excited to have you guys here. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give me some thumbs up so I know you're enjoying these videos. Hit the notification so you guys can get notified when I post similar videos like this. Well guys, I really hope you guys have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.